right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
Mark.
I'm Jay.
All right, guys, so this episode we are going to continue our mini-series on the Injustice books. This is going to be our coverage of Injustice Year 2. So let's start chatting about our biggest highlights for Injustice Year 2. I mean, we've all at least read the book, done the online review. So let's see where it takes us. What do you got for me, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, one big thing that I really liked was if you're reading them in the individual pieces, it's in chapter 2, but they bring back Kyle Rayner as a Green Lantern, who you don't really get a lot of. He was one of the original Green Lanterns, I believe. And it's kind of like a reality check for Hal, because Hal's kind of aligning himself with Superman at first, right?
I mean, pretty much throughout the entire book, he's aligning himself with Superman up until, he stays with him the entire time and then becomes a Yellow Lantern in the later half of the book. But yeah, he's definitely on the not so great side.
Yeah, I mean, that was one thing for me. I mean, just the whole battle between Superman by himself, pretty much with Sinestro and a few other Yellow Corps members, and then versus the entire Green Lantern Corps. And that's where Superman's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I know in the beginning they had to do the flashback scene with Green Arrow and Canary, etc.
Getting beat by a squirrel.
That does happen to Superman?
Well, he kills Squirrel eventually.
Sinestro. It fucking stabs him through the brain. But the squirrel sort of stops Superman by
smallest possible thought, just get his brain to stop functioning.
Exactly.
Really quick, I don't want to go on a huge tangent about this, but I want to know, what is it with fucking squirrels in comics? In Marvel, you have Squirrel Girl, who's the third strongest person ever, and then you have the Green Lantern Squirrel just fucking up Superman, who's top tier, OP level god.
So
why squirrels?
First of all, that's a great question. I have no idea.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, the Green Lantern Corps is, I feel like my high school, it was the goddamn UN. There were so many. You just look at any Green Lantern cover or Green Lantern Corps comic book cover, and it is just the most random grouping of people ever. You've got everything. I mean,
you have a goddamn planet.
Yeah, they do have a planet that is a Green Lantern. It is just I don't even know how that works, but fuck it. It's a comic, so make it happen.
And they train on it.
Yeah, they do. And they actually destroy it in this book.
Yeah, I know. It was quite sad.
Superman by himself destroys it, which is just wildly OP. Once he becomes a Yellow Lantern, it's all over. The rest of the world is just dead. But I mean, to hit a couple big things. Superman now finds out that Canary is pregnant. So she has Oliver Queen's baby inside of her, even though he just killed Oliver Queen. So now he kind of feels like a dick.
And he finds out while trying to crush her fucking skull.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he moves on. He's like, well, shit, God damn it. I feel bad, but I'm still doing my thing. So get over it.
Right. And then, after all that, Superman kind of goes off, and she's pretty much I'm fighting for two now, and I'm going to get you with whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
So then it cuts to Kyle Rayner, like I was saying, which is crazy because he ends up fighting Sinestro, and Sinestro is just you know what? I can't let you know what's going on, so I'm gonna cut your finger off and throw you in prison.
Yeah, that's another huge.
He didn't throw him in prison. He let him die in space.
Did he?
No. He doesn't throw him in prison. He just kills him.
Yeah, he literally he rips his finger off in space and just lets him die.
Yeah, because he takes the ring with him. He
literally
just grabs his finger and is pop, and just pops the whole damn thing off. It's nothing, which again, love it. But he. Oh no! I'm sorry. You were right. I apologize completely. He doesn't.
He puts him in that hologram, not hologram, but it has a thing, because if it doesn't eventually.
Oh, it does. I've swore he killed him because he stopped being able to breathe in space.
No.
Because I think Hal saves him, I think, or Hal talks him into keeping him
He tried. Yeah,
alive.
you're right. You were correct. Hal tries to convince him to side with Superman. Basically, he's like, yeah, like you can get your ring back and you can, you know, do your thing, but you got to side with Superman, which is a no go.
Right. And what you call it? Because I remember later on when Hal Jordan, they think like how when they start suspecting Hal Jordan's like turning, and they throw him in prison. He's in there with them.
Yeah, and
Or
then
was it Hal?
yeah, no,
I think no.
no, because Hal's on Superman's side the entire time.
He's in jail at one point.
But that's
Yeah, I
like
was gonna say. I think
well,
they
back
do.
on Earth though. That's when Commissioner Gordon goes to the bat signal, thinking that Batman's looking for a meetup, and finds out it's Superman.
And that I never understood. Like, there's this giant war between literally just a rich boy and a fucking god. And then he's like, "Oh, do you really think he's just gonna give away his position that easy? Like, oh, here's a giant spotlight. Come find me." Because like,
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's the thing. Commissioner Gordon thinks that it's Batman's way of like, oh yeah, we need to meet up and talk and this, that, and the other. And you're right. If it were Batman lighting it, Superman would be there in a hot second and just kill him. But
right, like,
I mean, he already literally broke his back at the end of the last book.
What's up with people and breaking Batman's back?
Yeah, Batman's back
that's
is
the
not
thing,
in a good
man.
spot. He is he
He was
needs like
quite weak.
titanium, vibranium, whatever skeleton. He's got to be like fucking Wolverine with the adamantium at this point. So many goddamn surgeries. But that's when he finds out again and again. Superman is just like using and abusing his supervision. He finds out that Commissioner Gordon's got cancer.
Which Gordon knew anyway. Like he didn't know how bad it was, but he knew it was like getting there. And I feel like Superman was just kind of like the thing people got to remember too is like it's still Superman. Like he still has a history with the non-super characters.
Sure.
So like him and Gordon, like Gordon really never did anything other than supporting Batman. Like he never did anything against Superman, really. Like,
Well, and Commissioner Gordon's a good person. Superman may be a total dick right now, but again, he's still the person that's not trying to just be like a murderous asshole. He's trying to, I mean, you know, I'll always reference it back to Marvel. He's like trying to keep the calm and keep the happy. But, you know, this is like the Sokovia Accords split in Marvel. You know, there's one side that believes that they need to have unlimited power and they need to stop things basically before they start. And then there's the other side, like Batman's basically Iron Man's side in this one. And he's like, nah, like we need to keep ourselves in check. You know, let's not get a little too crazy.
yeah, and I mean, you guys, I've talked about it before, and we find out that Batman's really like Superman's scouring the earth and he can't find him. Like he can't figure out what's going on, and you find out he's actually in the Tower of Fate, which I'm a Constantine fan and a Doctor Fate fan. I like how DC does their magic with everything, and I mean, legit. I mean, I just got done watching the new Constantine animated movie that was on HBO, and that was legit. So if you guys want to check something out, go to HBO Max and check that out. But yeah, you pretty much find out that Batman's was Zatanna, Doctor Fate, Constantine, and like those kind of allies. Which I'm like, okay, that's cool because it's like it's smart. Superman's biggest weakness is magic, and I'm sorry at the beginning I was wrong. I wasn't thinking Kyle Rayner. I was thinking of Guy Gardner.
Yes. Well, that's not till later in the book anyway. But yeah, Guy Gardner's he gets his ass
Well,
beat.
he's called upon pretty early because Kyle Rayner goes missing and never comes back, and they never get a signal. So they call him to run the investigation because then he goes back to Earth and he's talking with like Hal and everything, and they're like, "Oh shit, like Guy Gardner's back," and then that's kind of what starts the war later on between.
Oh yeah. No, I was referring to the part where Sinestro kills Hal's girlfriend or stabs Hal's girlfriend and then blames it on Guy Gardner and Hal just goes off. But I mean, I like the fact that, like you said, that magic in this universe is very much Superman's weakness. So utilizing Dr. Fate's tower, you know, and being in a place devoid of time and space, Superman can't detect him, which is cool. I like the use of that. You know, it's a big play by Alfred and Batman, and obviously Zatanna is one of the people there.
And that was one thing I never understood. It was like, oh, you have magic, but you have to be dyslexic to use it.
Yeah.
Just speak backwards. And that's it's like, oh, okay. So like if I want to go to town, it's like Nwat Og Ot.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, moving on from that terrible, terrible joke that I just made. Uh,
That's all right. I'm sure someone will appreciate it. Probably not
Doubt
Jason,
it.
but somebody.
No.
yeah, I mean, I'm curious. So now I know obviously Jay, you're a Superman kind of guy, and you've been a little bit quiet. And Steve, I know as far as DC goes, like you're definitely more on the Marvel side. What did you guys think of this book? Because obviously this is a very Lantern Corps heavy book, and I know they have a huge following, but I know as far as us personally, they're not really one of our top tier, like us diving deep into and enjoying. So how did that make this one harder for you guys to read dealing with all the Lantern Corps, or did it kind of open your mind up to be like, yeah, it's kind of cooler than I thought and want to kind of like dive in deeper?
Go ahead,
I
Jay.
en-
Start.
I enjoyed the whole Lantern Corps portion of it, just especially because I liked Darkest Night anyway, which dealt a lot with lanterns. And it was kind of cool to see Superman try to fight them, and well, win very decisively.
Yeah, I'm again, like you said, I'm more of a Marvel guy. I've been diving a bit more into DC, obviously, ever since we started the podcast. But for me, the Green Lanterns have always been a cool concept. I like the fact that they have the power rings, and for at least the Green Lantern, it's all willpower, and then the amount of focus they have. So I like to see sort of how when the Green Lanterns all come together and all of their willpower combines, like when they had to grab Hal Jordan as he tried to escape the planet. So they built like the barrier and chained him and that, like that was a cool thing to see. Obviously the Yellow Lantern Corps, the Sinestro Corps, they work with fear. So the more people are afraid of you, the stronger their power is. I think red is anger, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they
Yes.
have the 10 power rings. So is it something I'm definitely interested in? Absolutely. Will I probably grab a couple more and read into them? I've actually already grabbed a few. I have a couple sitting next to me right now and a couple in my box upstairs. Like I had, just got to kind of bust them open. And with our, scheduling right now, we have so much other stuff on our plate, but I will get to them. And I would love to do hell, we could do an episode on just our favorite Lantern Corps and why. I think that would be a cool thing to go into because there's so many of them and each of us can, pick a couple and go from there.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, I was just curious because like I know for me, like it kind of like the Green Lanterns were one that like I always saw in like the Justice League animated series, like things like that. But for me, I feel like this really opened me up more to the Yellow Lantern Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I kind of want to dive deeper into like Sinestro's like origin and all that kind of stuff, and kind of see where he came from because he was a Green Lantern first, right?
Yes. If
And
you
then he
watch,
became a Yellow
there's a
Lantern.
Green Lantern movie that actually explains it pretty well. What happens?
You mean the one with Ryan Reynolds? No, I'm kidding.
No,
That was a
nowhere
garbage
close to that one. No close. No, there's an animated one. I'm trying to think what it was called though.
I'll have to check it out. There's a bunch of them on HBO. I guess.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's one of the ones on there because they took all of DC Universe's movies and brought them over there. I watched it from DC Universe.
Yeah, I've been combing my way through the HBO Max DC Universe stuff recently. Super exciting.
Right.
But I guess, to get back on track, chapter 3 starts out with like the Guardians. They're all, getting together and having a meeting. And that's where like Ganthnet's like, yeah, no, I'm super concerned about everything with Earth right now. Like there's way too much going on.
Yeah.
And obviously Superman's sort of on his war path at this point.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's gotten to the point to where like the council doesn't even like trust Hal Jordan anymore, which is crazy because like out of all the historical Green Lanterns, I feel like between Hal Jordan and oh my god,
John.
yes, I don't know how I forgot that. Between them two, like they're like the two most trusted of all time. Like
I was to say that's when you referenced like the Justice League shows, like those are the two guys that I remember, growing up with as the Green Lanterns.
Well, Helen, this kind of follows the whole Sinestro path because he was that trusted Green Lantern and was supposed to be the best of them, and then just falls from grace.
Oh, absolutely. He definitely does, and that's what eventually turns him to a Yellow Lantern because Ganthet takes the green ring from him.
He deserved it. He was being a dickhead.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Really didn't feel like the only real part to like chapter 3 was just kind of like the city council. Like they're getting ready to vote on how to deal with the Superman issue because they've already tried nuking him once when he's like, hey, don't try to nuke me. But then they try to nuke him. And then he's like, hey, don't do this. And they're like, hey, we're going to plot to do this now. So Superman kind of like sends the Flash and Hal, and they're basically just like, look, you guys are going to make a dumb decision. Because like the one thing I liked about this was like they were sent there. It was Superman's best and like to enforce Superman's will, but like they're using their own good intentions. They're like, look, we know Superman's telling you don't do this, but like you really need to listen to him to save your own life. Otherwise, and I thought that was a cool dichotomy, especially for Flash, because through this entire series, Flash like is supporting Superman, but he's like torn about helping Superman.
Yeah, and I think again, based on the comics, the TV series, the animated movies, Flash is one of those people who's like inherently good. He's not about the killing, but he is about keeping the peace. So for him, he's not going to go out there and murder people. That's not his thing. But he understands that it might be a means to an end. And while he's not technically doing it, so he doesn't feel, as bad about it, he's understanding why certain things need to happen. But again, like you said, he's torn because he doesn't want death and destruction.
Right. And then, then we dive into chapter 4. And for me, this is one of the most ridiculous things I ever thought, but Batman gets a phone call in the Tower of Fate. So, like Superman can't find him. Great. Superman can't find him and see him, but can you hear me now? Good. And I get it. Like guy. I get it. Like it's magic, but it's like, come on. Like
cell phone magic.
Yeah.
The magic of the 21st century.
But yeah, so basically he gets a call from the president and, eventually, that goes to Oracle, who basically tells the president, like, yeah, look, Batman's been like helping the people that are resisting against Superman and his regime, like basically the means to fight him because they finally got their hands on Batman reverse engineered the green pill. So basically, or what's it, green or blue, whatever.
The red pill, the superhuman pill.
Yeah, the super pill. Was it not either of the two colors that I said?
I think it was red. At least the one that Commissioner Gordon takes is red.
Yeah. So basically, you eventually have like for a short period of time, they go Super Saiyan, and they can actually hold their own against like the likes of Superman, who's arguably one of the strongest. I keep saying that, I know, but like, so yeah. So basically, they kind of let the president know, like, look, don't do shit. We're handling things on our end.
Yeah. Well, and that's when Wonder Woman's mother comes and takes her back to Paradise Island. She wants to heal up there. Sinestro arrives at the Watchtower. And that's when, the whole not trusting Sinestro part sort of comes in because, again, he is canonically one of the more untrustworthy people from any of the Corps. He's just kind of a dick.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually kind of shocked to see like Hippolyta come into the mix. Not really, because I mean, we saw War last time, but like Ares, but like I don't know. It just always seems like I know Wonder Woman's mom's like one of the actual like good moms in the. Well, I can't say it because all the moms pretty much are good moms. It's just the fact that most of them are dead.
Yeah,
but like the fact that like after everything Diana did, it kind of speaks to the Amazonians, because it's like Wonder Woman's literally just been feeding Clark's ear and wanting more and more fighting, but like that's what the Amazons are, and that's why when people are like, oh well, Diana like is so uncharacteristically bad in this one, I'm like, no, she's not. Like this is exactly what had happened if she didn't meet the Justice League and they didn't have that influence on her. Like she's used to fighting gods and Greek mythological beasts and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah, and she's not. It's not. I don't think it's necessarily evil that she is. She's just she gets off on war. She gets off on like fighting. And that's what the Amazonians are known for. They're known
Right.
for being the best warriors in the world. And like that's awesome. But again, she's, that devil on Superman's shoulder. She's like, yeah, do it. Fight.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's what's interesting is like Superman goes after Sinestro when he shows up. Like Sinestro refuses to fight, which kind of for me was like a red flag. It's like, all right, what's going on here? Like, and I get it's probably because Sinestro isn't gonna have Superman fearing him, so he has like no power in that fight. Like,
Oh yeah. But I mean, even that, he's also trying to gain their trust at the same time. So, he talks to him, he explains that, like, he even takes off his ring at one point and hands it over and is like, no, like I'm here to help you. Like I'm here to, take my side. You got the Yellow Lantern Corps with you. We see what you're doing and we think it's right. Which again, at this point, probably isn't the best thing to tell someone on this, megalomaniac rampage, but there goes Superman. Needs the justification from everybody around him.
I feel like how bad of a position do you have to be in to be like, you know what? This guy who like works off of fear, he's right. Let me trust him.
Yeah.
like homie just looks bad, like evil. Like,
Oh yeah. Ring, no ring. Sinestro he's a bad looking dude. He's got the pencil mustache and
half his dudes literally have the words like kill in their name
yes.
in the Yellow Lantern Corps. But like, let's trust those people.
Yeah. Sinestro. Yeah, that guy, dude definitely sounds like a guy I can trust.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, goddamn right. But yeah, so they end up taking what? Oh, Ganthet has Hal take him to Superman so that he can attempt to talk him down. I think that's what the end of chapter 4, right?
yeah, because then chapter 5, like it goes back to like a Superman origin flashback where he's like a baby being sent away from Krypton and all that. And basically, like, you learn that his mother, Laura, laments that her child's like afraid. So, like, in the present, Superman he's actually having a diplomatic talk with Ganthet. Like, they're actually sitting down, they're being civilized for the most part until, the little wheels start turning of Sinestro. But overall, like, he's basically telling him, like, look, dude, like, that dude being Ganthet's basically telling him like civilizations need to take their own course. Like you can't sit here and be like this god-like dictator that's literally micromanaging every single person's life. Like that's not how people are meant to live. That's not how societies are meant to live. And then that's when the Superman asks the key question. He's like, well, where were you when Krypton blew up? And then he's like, yeah, you need to fucking leave. Like, get out of here. So what happens is Sinestro then, gets that little tongue in Superman's ear and he's like, hey, yeah.
That sounded dirty.
It did. I was going to say something about it after you were done talking, but the
If
first
you-
thing all I can think of is like his little red face up on Superman's ear, like,
yeah, so basically that's when Sinestro is like, look, just going off of that and me knowing the history of the Green Lanterns, like you may not trust me, but they're gonna come back and they're gonna want to fight and you're gonna need me.
Oh, absolutely.
So I mean that's where pretty much you get every single Green Lantern gets summoned back to Oa, and now you see like John Stewart's actually like he's actually fighting the undead on Riot, and basically he has to like abandon that fight. So he like goes and he informs Carol Farris, that like he has to leave Earth for a while, or Hal goes over. He's like, "Hey, I'm leaving Earth for a while. We need to break up." Like,
Again, this is like the 5th time that it's happened too.
Like, see ya.
But she's pissed off, and she realizes that, again, this is happening more and more frequently now. She sees Ganthet. And then Guy Gardner is left as Earth's new, mightiest Green Lantern, and he's the protector of that sector now.
Right. And I mean, it's just how it is. I mean, right now, Hal's being severely compromised both in like what his actions and his like thought process. So I mean, they're doing what they think is best for the what you call it, like society and John.
Absolutely. But I mean, then we jump back. Superman, Lex Luthor. They think that the control of the city needs to be turned over. Commissioner Gordon, they don't think that he's, equipped enough to basically defend the city from anything that may or may not happen to it, which I guess he's technically right because, let's just look at Gotham City from, an outsider's perspective. Like, you don't want to live there. Not only is like the crime rate like 99%, you have a masked vigilante rich boy who's just psychotic going around beating people up in the streets at night. It'll start there. So like Commissioner Gordon and his police obviously haven't done a great job of stopping crime.
I wonder how much their insurance is.
Oh, it's got to be absurd. Like, but every business has to have like theft insurance, destruction insurance, Batmobile crashing through your window insurance. Like, it's got to be wildly expensive to just do anything there. So again, Superman's not wrong in saying that Commissioner Gordon is ill-equipped to protect the city because he just is.
Yeah,
like, it's just a fact.
Literally, none of us are going to be able to fight like Bane, the Joker. I think I could kick the Riddler's ass. He's just smart.
Yeah, see, the Riddler's like Jigsaw. He's not necessarily dangerous by himself, but like he gets set traps and stuff. Yeah, he's extremely
intelligent. Does the Riddler have prep time against Jay?
Yes, the Riddler has prep time. Jay, you might be.
Jay, you're
I don't know.
No, man. You guys act like I'm stupid or something.
All right, Jay, hold on. Jay, hold on. I got a riddle for you.
Okay.
What has 3 E's but only 1 letter? You're dead. The answer is envelope.
Sneaky.
See, that was good. And that wasn't even a hard one.
Yeah, that's fine. You can give me all the hard riddles you want. I'm still shooting the Riddler in the fucking face.
Did you get that close, though?
Hold on.
You act like I have to be that close.
Bro, he hacks into like satellites and shit and just puts his face up on video screens where you shoot the TV. That shows him.
All right, so let's try to get back on track real quick.
I will find him.
Yeah, so going back on track, this is actually this is my favorite part of the entire Injustice series. And I mean, it's kind of sad because it's like Jim Gordon's dying, but basically like he's talking with Batgirl and he finally tells her about his cancer. And she's like, oh, well, I'm Batgirl. And he's like, I know, I'm not stupid. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, and I know who Batman is too. Like, not that hard to figure out.
Dun, dun.
Like, how'd you know? Well, let's see. He's a billionaire and he always has these brand new shiny toys. I mean, I don't think, you're making these on a normal 9-to-5 job. You're not going to be able to afford this shit.
Somebody's bankrolling Batman and it's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. So basically, like, and it's not even the fact that he knew who Batman was. He's like, yeah, I've known it for years. So it's like Jim Gordon's a true G because he's like, yeah, I could have outed you at any time and I didn't.
Oh, absolutely. He is the second greatest detective in the world.
Yeah, so, but then, he talks about the one. Huh.
Yeah, behind you, Jack.
Yes.
I mean, you solved your own murder, and you came back to life. Good job.
But yeah, but then he gets that's where he gets introduced to the birds of prey.
Yes, which is awesome. Hopefully, again, I don't know if you guys saw the Birds of Prey movie. Not terrible. Probably could have done a little bit better, but that's DC is coming into their own. Super excited for the new Justice League movie. We'll do a whole review on that too. I'm super excited.
Wait, can we talk about one part in this book that's not really like, I don't want to say it's not like relevant, but it's just like a tiny section, the very beginning, where it's like they're talking about it's like right after the series of Darkest Night, Hal, Ollie, and Diana.
Yep.
Did I say her name right? Black Canary? Right?
Yeah.
Dinah.
Dinah. Or going into the bar and like the biker comes up and like Ollie just snickers and he's like, "Oh, you need a guard protector?" He's like, "No, but I love it when she does it."
Dude, I love the relationship between Black Canary and Green Arrow in the comics. Like literally it's like they're always competing with each other, but like they don't get jealous of each other. Like in that instance, he's like, "It's not me you got to worry about. Like it's her." And like, because
Like,
if
no,
it's
don't be
me, I'd be
angry,
like, "Bro,
fam."
like stand up for your chick." And then when I see her fuck him up, I'd be like, "All right, you do you." Like,
Or he hits a dude in the eye with a peanut and then she breaks his nose. He's like, "What? I lifted a finger. Literally one finger."
And that just goes to show you how accurate he is. He is the DC version of Bullseye.
What
Or
about Hawkeye?
Or
I was about to say,
mean,
I was like, bro, I was watching Civil War again yesterday just for shits and giggles, and they were talking to Hawkeye, and he was like, "What, retirement boring? Haven't played enough golf?" He's like, "I played 18 holes. I shot 18."
yeah. No, I mean, I completely agree. I was just referring, what was it? The Ben Affleck Daredevil, where he takes like a paper clip, hits the dude in the
Oh, you're
forehead.
talking
with
about
it.
Colin Farrell?
Yeah. Which
to be
again,
fair, I actually liked Colin Farrell like as Bullseye. I just hated the script that they gave him as Bullseye.
yeah. Well, that
I
whole
hated the
movie,
entire movie script.
yeah, I was say the whole movie script was bad. But again, if they do it like they did with the Netflix, like it's a good series. But
Yes.
sorry, jumping back from what chapter 7 now, we are going to derail ourselves so many times, and I love it. All right, Sinestro is
It
trying to
sounds like a
convince.
typical one of our conversations.
Yeah, pretty much. Sinestro is trying to convince everybody that he's on their side. He was once a Green Lantern. He was the greatest Green Lantern, just as Hal Jordan was, and all of the greatest quote unquote Green Lanterns before. Uh, you know, he actually did the same thing, and that's why he got kicked out of the Green Lantern Corps. He was trying to enforce peace through force, and
Because his wife died.
yeah, his wife and his daughter. But
He probably deserved it.
yeah. So, but he sounds like he's this great dude, and then, I mean, obviously for the reader, you're watching him kind of be an asshole, and that's why he got his Green Lantern ring taken away. So he was a tyrant, but his wife actually killed herself because he was a dick, and the Guardians were trying to stop him, and they were also trying to liberate Korugar. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
The planet he was in control of. So he makes himself out to be this really good person with a good heart, and he wants the same thing that Superman does, but in reality, he's just the same old Sinestro.
He's a dickhead.
Yep.
Right, and I mean he pulls the ultimate like reverse psychology because like obviously Lex and Flash aren't trusting him and like they're trying to show him that, and he's like, what, here's my ring. Like you're gonna need my help soon, but here's my ring.
Yeah.
They should have literally just killed him there. It would have been perfect. And thanks for the ring. Superman puts it on and just like shoots a laser beam through his forehead. That'd be amazing.
Honestly, if that happened, you probably wouldn't get a lot of the future events of this like timeline.
Well, I say that would speed up like half of this book. So, yeah, if Superman put the ring on right then and there and killed Sinestro, it would have stopped a lot of things from happening. I mean, that right there, it would have put everyone back in hiding almost immediately, like it did towards the end of the book.
Right, and then
I'm still pretty sure the entire Green Lantern Corps is still coming.
Oh no, absolutely, but it would have been almost immediately wiped out by Superman.
Also, can we talk about the major bitch move Superman pulls, telling everybody to come outside so they can't fight him? The Green Lantern Corps can't fight him.
I mean, it's a well-timed strategy.
It is a well-timed strategy, but it's bitch made.
Oh, absolutely, because he knows. Well, I mean, hell, dude, play to your strengths. He knows that the Green Lantern Corps will not harm like civilians and citizens. So fuck it. He's like, I'm gonna call them all outside, and what are you gonna do? Hurt them? You ain't gonna do shit.
Would.
And I mean, he calls their bluff, and I love it.
I would.
And that's why you're not a Green Lantern, Jay.
Damn right. I'm probably be a Red Lantern if anything. But
yeah,
we're getting off topic again.
But so what are we on? Chapter 8 now?
Probably.
Yeah. So Hal is
trying
to convince the Guardians.
The hypocrisy.
Yeah, he's trying to convince the Guardians that Superman's in the right, and he's trying to defend them. I
wonder how that must have went. Like, if this is like a real thing, because I probably went over about as well as a fart in church. Because like, holy shit, Superman is a dictator. He's like Hitler, except not as ugly.
Say not as ugly.
And I don't think Superman can paint either. So there's probably that. That might be a difference too.
But he can lift the tractor with one hand and fix it.
There you go.
Hey, you play to your strengths.
But yeah, so basically, just to get back in there, I thought it was funny that, like, you know, here's Hal trying to defend Superman, everything. Kilowog's like, yeah, we're not even going to listen. He just knocks him the fuck out and takes his ring. He's like, and then basically they're like, we're going with it without you.
Yeah, and then they like John to watch him, who then ends up just freeing him because he's a fucking dingus.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that obviously pays off for John later in the series. And then what we're on. No. That was complete sarcasm.
I was going to say, but does it?
But Hal Jordan and Sinestro are both in prison still. Hal gets freed by John. And then John's like, yeah, you know, I trust Superman, so we're gonna side with him. That's cool.
And then Superman literally is just like, all right, I'm going to need some help in this fight. So he literally just goes and kidnaps Billy Batson out of math class. It's like, hey, you're going to help me now. And
I think a big thing, and for anyone that's
seen
the
Magic
Shazam movie, Billy Batson looks up to Superman. He views him, I mean, he's like any kid, you know, even us growing up. Jay still looks up to Superman. So, like,
do not call me a child.
Oh no, I'm not calling you a child. I'm just saying you still look up to Superman. But he's one of those kids that, like, in the movie, he's like, oh my God, Superman came to visit the school. Like, that's the big thing he does for his brother, you know? And I think that's super cool that Superman, I mean, obviously it's a dick move on Superman's part, but he's, again, playing to his strengths. He knows that Billy Batson is, you know, Superman is his hero. So is he ever going to say no? Absolutely not. So fucking good on you, Superman.
Way to be a tyrant. So wait. So as far as we're in now, who do you think is the most brainwashed?
Superman.
Nah, I mean, okay, who do you think, better way to put this, who do you think drank the Kool-Aid enough of Superman's Kool-Aid out of all the other superheroes?
Hal Jordan.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too.
I would say either Hal, because I'd probably go Hal, because, like, Diana's like, she's an Amazonian, like, she just likes fighting, so it doesn't take much. Like, it's not that she cares what the cause is, as long as it results in a fight. To where Hal Jordan's like trying to find any moral ground to kind of like justify what Superman's doing at that time.
He's like, he's stopping crime. He might be killing them all, but like he's stopping it at least.
Yeah. So, Jay, we're getting to your favorite part when Superman pulls that bitch ass move and attacks them from the watchtower in space while they're out in the desert.
Jay, you want to cover that one? I know it's your favorite.
No. You guys got this. I'm still mad at this.
Shut up, Jay. You got to talk. That's the whole point
of
us
talking
on here.
I've been talking.
Mark and I have been doing the brunt of the explanation here.
I know. That's what your guys' job is on this. I'm just here to add my little comments.
All right. So
So basically, Superman, Shazam, and Hawkgirl all decide to go to like the desert, and they confront Kilowog. Kilowog's like, "Yeah, you guys need to like cease and desist. Like, you need to stand down." Superman's like, "No, you know what? I'm gonna fucking blast you." And then smoke clears, and boom, nothing fucking happened. And majority of the Green Lantern survived. And Superman's like, "Oh shit." So, and this is like verbatim what he's saying. He's like, "Man, you know these fuckers. We gotta get them right." So basically, Superman then clashes with Kilowog, but you know he gets incapacitated by Chip. And
That's your
then
favorite part, Jay, the squirrel.
Goddamn squirrel.
right, and then so shit starts going sideways, and basically like Lex Luthor's like, all right, we're not going to be winning this one, and he reluctantly has to release Sinestro because, like he said, like you're going to need my help.
And
So
this is where you have to realize Sinestro is the worst human being possible, or worst thing possible. He literally kills a fucking squirrel.
A squirrel with superpowers.
Yeah.
It's a fucking squirrel, bro. He literally could have put it in a goddamn bubble and shook it.
He would have to take the ring off first.
No, he would not. He literally could. He had his yellow lantern ring on. Could have put the goddamn squirrel in a bubble and then just like shook his hand, and the bubble would have shaken too, and the little squirrel would have probably fucking just like went unconscious.
I mean, he impaled him in the head. It was a little bit more effective.
It's a squirrel. Why would you kill it? It's cute and little. It flies.
So
yeah, and it literally just used your own like neurology against you to paralyze you.
Yes.
But it's a squirrel.
But that's when Canary and Guy are in the apartment, and Guy is learning about Green Arrow's death. And then he realizes that Hal is sort of gone off the deep end.
Right. And for me, this is kind of like a key point because it's like Guy Gardner, I feel like, is one that always gives you benefit of the doubt. And once he stops giving you that, that's when it's like, okay, maybe I need to reevaluate like what I have going on. But then you get, Hal and John start flying back to Earth after John freed them, and they end up passing Chip's ring. And that's kind of like a red flag to both of them. So as they get to Earth, you got this huge war going on out in space between the Lanterns and then Superman and his allies. And then, then Sinestro shows up and everybody's confused. Everybody's like, we don't know what's going on. But basically what ends up happening is you find out he had all those yellow core reinforcements coming in that he was hiding, and they just ambushed the Green Lanterns basically. And then so Superman's kind of like, look, they're beat, like let them retreat. And Sinestro is like, no, we got them right where we want them.
Kill them all.
Yeah, basically like they need to be dealt with. So they try to return to Oa to kind of like go back, collect it and everything. But meanwhile, in Gotham, you get a young couple that's attacked by a couple stormtroopers, and that's where you get crazy ass Detective Bullock. This dude's always like in the most fucked up situations. Like even in the cartoon, like in Batman the Animated Series, like Bullock was always just like a goon. But basically, like, him and Montoya come out and they start fucking these people up, and he's like, yo, we've been recruited by the Resistance, like, get out of here. So what did you think of the pills? Would you guys have taken them or no?
If I was in their position, yes. I think under any other circumstance, because, well, I mean, let's just look at Commissioner Gordon as an example here. We'll put a magnifying glass on him. It speeds up your body, which for him is basically just letting the cancer run rampant. So does that for a normal person like ourselves that doesn't have cancer? Like, am I going to age faster? Is that going to kill me sooner? God forbid there's something about your body that you're not aware of. Like, is that going to make it spread? Like, it's just there's a whole gamut of shit that could potentially happen, and I don't know if it's worth the risk, but I guess in his case, like, you're trying to save the world, so yeah. I mean,
I'd take it in a heartbeat.
It's Velocity 9 for the Flash. Is it worth it to be a little bit better right now and eventually kill yourself? It's like a drug. Because once
I'm
you
one.
have the, oh, come on, Jay, you know right now, if you took that pill and you had those powers for, we'll say an hour, right? Like, I don't know what the timeline was for it, but like, if you had those powers for an hour, at the end of that hour, you'd want another one.
Duh. Bro,
So
I would
it's
never
now
have
the
a
most
problem finding a
addictive thing
parking
ever.
spot ever again. And maybe I could have a beard if it does actually speed things up.
Jay, it's just going to speed up the poor growing of your current facial hair.
Yo. You know what? You know who's the first person whose car is getting launched in there? Yours now.
That's fine.
Both of them.
That's fine. All right.
So
So
be real
let's.
upset when you're fucking nice little Subies in a ball.
That's all right, Jay. I'm just gonna poop on your windshield. I don't need a pill for that. All right. So
But more of the story is basically once Sinestro kind of comes, eventually they decide to have them hand over the rings and imprison them. Meanwhile, you got Gordon kind of starting his own little resistance with the police officers that have been laid off due to the new like Superman troopers, whatever they're called,
the Super Troopers,
the Super Troopers, basically. And they're like, how can we trust that you guys are telling the truth? So Gordon's like, Bullock, shoot me in the face. And Bullock's like, all right, I got you. And then, so, Black Canary ends up taking a break from the Birds of Prey, but it's only to go tie up like loose ends in Star City, Oracle feels really weird because she's like giving her dad orders and stuff. Like Dinah then enters, the Arrow Cave, which, that's where Harley Quinn's still hiding out from the last book, and they briefly fight with each other. But then, Dinah starts puking in a bucket, and then that's when Harley's kind of like, "Oh, you're preggers," and it's like she starts laughing hysterically. So the two start kind of like talking with each other, and Harley kind of reveals that she has a daughter, Lucy, who's like that lives with her sister, and literally the look on Dinah's face is like, you have a fucking child. Like, yeah, because Harley knew basically that like the Joker really didn't care for her, but she still chose the Joker over her own kid. So she offers to help Dinah, and then both of them now have reasons to really fucking like go after Superman.
Yeah, I like Harley Quinn's character arc. I think, especially in this book, because it really shows her, like the good in her.
Right.
She in a few scenes takes off the makeup, is helping people out. Like she, as one of the people who is literally followed a psychopath into battle, will not follow this psychopath into battle. That psychopath being Superman. So for me, it's one of those, like, if the bad people aren't following you, there's probably something wrong with what you're doing.
Also, can we hit on one other thing? You were talking about how Gordon had Bullock shoot him in the face. Could you imagine how wrong that would have went if the pill just like stopped working at that point? Yeah, it's just like the effects were over at that point, and right as he pulls the trigger, it's like, well, shit. That was unfortunate. That was not planned well.
Well, have you guys ever seen the movie Power with
No.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt? It's on
Yes.
Netflix. Check it out, Mark, if you get the opportunity. That actual scenario happens. So there's these pills that basically give each person an individual power based on their genetics, et cetera, et cetera. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character's power is that he becomes basically invincible and like super strong. But he gets shot in the face, like just as the pill is wearing out. And it shows you like that exact scenario. So like the bullet didn't fully penetrate because the power was still active, but the bullet was still moving at that force, like with the momentum as it was running out. So it like goes inside of him and like almost kills him. And he gets shot in the face too. So like it's there. It's not a fucking, like, oh, I just got shot in the arm. No, like it's a full on headshot. Pretty crazy. He ends up surviving, obviously, because he's the main character in the movie. But
unfortunately,
great movie. I mean, it's one of those offshoot superhero type movies, but it very much reminds me of this with the pills giving everyone superpowers, except it's not just Superman's powers. All right, continuing on now that we're a little over halfway into the book. All right, so then they jump 7 months into the future.
We get the time. We get the
Yeah.
time jump to where
Canary's finally giving birth to their son Connor.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's obviously upset Oliver's not there. Despero, he comes out of space. Pronounce that correctly? Despero? Whatever. He comes out of space, crashes into a building. Or no, sorry, nearly crashes into the building. He gets picked up by Sinestro. And he brings him to justice. But yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point in the book, this is one of the arc of this book, so it's the turning point.
Yeah, this is where they actually have all the Green Lanterns coming, not just that little 20-man squad led by Kilowog.
Yeah, this is the point where Superman realizes that they're sort of shit out of luck as far as all the Green Lanterns coming.
This
and
is
they even
also
brought
the
the
point
planet.
where Hal Jordan just is a disappointment to all mankind, and he definitely deserved to lose his ring.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they brought a literal living planet with them, which I thought was hilarious.
Can I just note that I love the fact, though, that when Harley Quinn goes to visit Dinah when she has the baby, the toys include a bow and arrow, a muzzle, and a fake mustache.
I mean, did you expect
Harley Quinn
anything
through the
less?
whole series, and that fake mustache is fantastic.
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of, again, Harley Quinn being a good person, but the fact that she has no idea how to raise children, so she brought a muzzle. That's phenomenal.
I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh, well, bow and arrow, that makes sense. Oh, the fake mustache, that gag makes sense. And then it's like, and a muzzle. It's like, oh,
Just in case.
I don't know, man.
Baby kid.
Every kid I've ever dealt with, I would put muzzle on him if I could.
Yeah.
I know how Steve feels the same way about Hunter sometimes.
Yeah. All right, so Guy Gardner brings the invasion in. The Sinestro Corps watch people see him as he's coming to Earth, lets everyone know that they're coming. Superman lets everybody on Earth know they got to come out of their houses and help defend the planet against the bad people who are the Green Lanterns, even though it's complete
the good
bullshit.
people.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Green Lantern was the good guy for so long. How are the rest of his friends the bad guys?
Exactly. Birds of Prey gather in the Tower of Fate with Batman, who is now currently up and moving, but he's still obviously got a broken back. So he gives his, halftime speech to everybody. Lets everybody know that, we might be down 1 touchdown, but we're going to, pull this out. And this is the blaze of glory.
The Hail Mary.
Right now. Yeah, goddamn right. And then
it didn't work.
Yeah, no, I mean, he promises them that the Superman will eventually be brought to justice, but obviously we know how that plays out.
Also, Alfred gives Canary a kryptonite bullet.
Yes, that's one of the most important parts here, too. So Batman's talking to Oracle about, the war that is about to happen. She's talking to him, explains Guy Gardner's message that the ground assault's going to begin when the sky turns green, and it literally does. I mean, there's just a flash and the entire sky is just green with the willpower. And then, Mogo blocks out the sun. There's nothing but darkness. Superman and Guy Gardner start going at it.
Yeah, and that's after, Guy Gardner gives him, one last shot. He's like, dude, look, we don't have to be doing this. Just lay low and we'll be cool. And Superman's like, fuck no. And then he calls him, an embarrassment to the league. And breaks
his arm.
Thanks.
He's straight up just breaking people's bones left and right. And that's, again, like I said, I love that about Superman. He's not killing anyone. He's just trying to incapacitate everyone long enough so that he can regain control.
You
Batman
lied
being
there.
the operative person here.
Whoa. Superman literally shoved his hand through Joker's chest.
Okay, Joker's a bad guy. I can see that. He's so like Batman. Batman and Superman have been friends forever, but he knows that Batman is one of the only people that, like, given the opportunity to just sit down and think for 5 minutes, would be able to stop him.
Right.
So what did he do? He made Batman so broken that he could not operate. And he didn't kill him. He didn't even paralyze him. He just broke his back enough that he's out of commission for a while. Guy Gardner, he needs his arm, his willpower, his focus. So break your arm. You're going to have to focus on that now. Figure it out. But with the kryptonite bullet, she promises to not kill Superman. And that was, because she definitely would. She would have shot him straight in the face.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Batman was like, no, like, he's redeemable. Don't kill him. Which, again, mistake. But we'll talk about that later.
These people need to treat like this asshole like a dictator and just fucking kill him.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Superman's doing. He's going around smashing dictators and
He is a dictator.
warmongers. Correct, but he is the dictator to rule all dictators. He's telling you you're wrong for dictating by dictating you. So, all right. Commissioner Gordon leads the super people, the super pill fucking soldiers to the Justice League headquarters. Harley Quinn has a suicide vest on. Suicide Squad. That's when they fight with the Flash.
Mogo wipes out most of the yellow core with that one blast.
Which, again,
Oh shit, he's a planet.
Yeah, he is. That's one of, like, the worst decisions that the Green Lantern Corps made, was killing a bunch of Sinestro Corps people. Because now their ring's just looking for new hosts.
Yeah, so, like, then, back to the battle with Commissioner Gordon and everything, like, Harley Quinn, like, detonates a bomb and Flash ends up catching, like, one of the people finds out it's actually Catwoman. So, like, she actually takes down Flash, puts a paralysis chip in him, and then she clashes with Robin, which, that to me still kind of irks me. It's like, I get, like, Damian and Bruce have, like, they butt heads, but it's like, how do you go against, like he literally took you in and taught you everything, and you're still going against him.
Well, I mean, was it the animated movie Bad Blood, if I'm not mistaken, where Damian just completely, I mean, Bruce tries to sort of wrangle him, and I mean, I don't want to say he collars him because he still sneaks out of the house and does his own thing, but, like, he ends up resenting Bruce regardless of the fact that he's taken him in and trained him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the big takeaway from all this is, as they start overcoming Lex Luthor's tower, Lex Luthor's like, Cyborg, you got to get out of here. As he's leaving, he picks up on some of the encryption that Oracle uses. And then once he's gone, you actually find out, like, oh, Lex Luthor was the spy all along.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like that they call him a spy, where I don't think he's a spy because he's literally playing, like, both sides of the field. So I feel like he's a little bit more into it than being a spy. But yeah, Catwoman reports back to Batman. She's like, "Yo, we did it. Like, we got this." But Batman and Oracle are like, "Well, Gordon disappeared, but they trust his judgment. So, like, we know he can handle himself."
And that's when Canary and Superman meet up. They have their big battle. She screams in his ears and blows his eardrums, shoots him in the chest. And then as he's laying there, I mean, basically dying, but not really dying, that's when the yellow ring flies onto his hand and he becomes the most OP son of a bitch ever. Kills her and the baby. That's what got me. Superman shot her straight through the stomach. Like, didn't go for her head, didn't go for anything else. Like, he went for the baby.
Which is actually kind of, like, not funny, but, like, it's weird to see because this whole thing started because he lost Lois when she was pregnant with their baby.
Yep.
And now he's taking her out while she's pregnant with green arrows and all that. So, like,
well, and the funny thing is, Superman killed Green Arrow too. So like he's
I'm
already
sorry, she
taken out.
wasn't pregnant. I lied. She wasn't pregnant when she got killed because the
Oh
baby's
yeah, you're right. You're correct. She already had the baby, but
or not to watch
he's
Tower
still
of Fate.
he's still taking the mother away. And does he know that she gave birth? Like he very well could have thought the baby was still in there. He has no idea.
I don't even know if he knew
Shit.
she was pregnant.
No, he did because in the beginning he sees through her
Right.
stomach and like with his supervision. But again, did he guarantee that she wasn't pregnant anymore? Like he didn't know that. And he shot her straight through the stomach, which leads me to believe that his intent was to kill the child.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things. For me, I was just kind of shocked to see like Superman become like a yellow core member in this one. That was my big takeaway because I was like, okay, and it makes sense. Like everyone does already fear him, so why not just triple your power by putting a ring on?
Oh, dude, he's wildly overpowered now because and then she had the contact lenses in that broadcast his murder of her all across the globe, and all that did was just make him that much more powerful. Because now everyone's like, "Ah, fuck, Superman's gonna kill us all." God damn it!
Right,
Yikes.
he straight up punches Ganthet into Mogo's surface, then throws him into the sun, basically saying like, "Yeah, Earth doesn't need Green Lanterns anymore, so y'all can fuck off."
And then they fucking die.
And then,
Yeah.
of course, there's always Hal and Guy. Well, Hal's just beating the shit out of Guy because Guy refuses to hit him back. And then Hal's like, you know what? Fuck you. And takes his entire arm off and lets him just fall to his death.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, the story does end on a positive note. You know, Dr. Fate comes and he's standing next to Canary and he wakes her up and takes her to this remote cabin. And you're like, oh, what the hell? And then Fate reveals, like, hey, like, I'm not going to allow you to die. I'm brought her to a parallel Earth where there's another where an Oliver Queen lost his Black Canary. He's like, look, you both lost each other. Now you have each other. So
And
it's
the
kind of
child.
like, right.
And it just ends with Oliver calling her his little bird, and it's just adorable. Pretty bird, whatever.
Hey, pretty bird.
So I'm sorry, when you say pretty bird, it just makes me think of Dumb and Dumber.
Pretty bird.
Pretty bird. Pretty bird. I just thought the
pets' heads are falling off.
Fantastic.
I feel like that one line that basically captivates like the entire story.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh my god, Jay. I don't know if I can trust you anymore.
But yeah, so while you guys were reading through this one, like what was going through your heads? Like, were you shocked by how far Superman was taking everything, or were you kind of like, was that on par for what you were expecting?
Like I said, up until the point where he shot Dinah straight through the stomach, I was, and again, I'm never going to be on Superman's side in this regard. Like, I get what he's doing, he thinks is right, and I understand, like, in his mind why he's doing it. It's obviously still wrong, but again, I think that the turning point on Superman for me, which made me realize he might have been lost at that point, was using the ring to obviously A, incite fear, and then B, gaining the power from that, and then shooting Dinah through the stomach. Because again, I don't think it's not like he viewed her stomach real quick, noticed she wasn't pregnant and shot her. I think in his mind, he was still trying to kill the baby, which that could be my interpretation of it. I could be very wrong, but still, like, it's just a weird place to shoot somebody with your laser eyes. You could think of a million better places.
Pretty much,
But,
yeah.
Like in the face.
Yeah, in the face.
Like you said, I feel like this is kind of where like Superman starts becoming irredeemable. Like at first you're like, okay, I understand and I can kind of like, I get it. But then eventually, you're getting to the point to where you're just like, nah, bro, like there's no excuse.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't mind this one. I thought it's a nice filler because obviously like Batman's back's broke, so it kind of lets you dive in to see like the true power of Superman, fighting pretty much the entire Green Lantern Corps. And and it also shows like, okay, like maybe people do have a chance against Superman. Like he's not indestructible. He
Yeah.
needed the yellow ring in order to fight with like in order to keep up in the fight. Otherwise, he definitely would have lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those. You can make a god bleed. You take away his power, but
Right.
his power currently is running on fear. So he's now a monster again. I mean, that's really all I got as far as, wrapping it up. I mean, I guess we could touch base on like the last chapter. Batman sees the battle sort of lost, tells everyone to retreat, get back in hiding. I guess they want to, regroup. Ganthet talks to Superman again, but I mean, even Ganthet can't overcome Superman because he has the yellow core ring on. So he punches him into Moga's surface. Superman launches, like you say, launches into the sun. Earth doesn't need Green Lanterns anymore. Yeah, we already covered this. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just I was going off notes. But yeah. And then Sinestro lets Superman know that they quote unquote saved the world.
So that
Even
guy's
though
reliable.
Yeah, he's trustworthy.
I trust him.
Yeah, it's like trusting a fart after you eat Taco Bell.
But yeah, no, I mean, my final thoughts on this one was it was just a really quickly paced story that was really good because it shows you like Superman's hurting so bad that he's literally willing to throw like morality out the window. And I don't even think he realizes that he's doing it. Like I feel like everything he's doing in his mind is for the right cause.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I agree with that entirely.
One of my favorite quotes is some of the worst things done in history were done with the best intentions.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
like that's literally what you're seeing right here is like Superman has the best intentions. He wants to stop dictatorships. He wants to stop war. He wants to stop death. Like he wants to make sure that people are seeing justice, but the way he's going about it like is not a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're seeing a different side of Superman. And again, like he said, it's good initiative, bad judgment.
Right.
Like he's got the best intentions, but the way he's going about it is completely wrong. So, check back with us next time. We'll go over year 3 and expand on this a little bit further. I mean, if that's all you guys have got, that's all I've got.
No, yeah, that's all that I can really think of. I mean,
Jay?
Just can't wait to keep going on the story.
Yeah, I think we covered year 2 pretty well.
Cool. All right. So big thing for us. For those of you that are aware, we are on Instagram at Something Super Podcast. We just hit 100 followers, which means we are going to be doing a giveaway. We'll be running the giveaway for about a week, maybe 2. So check us out. We're going to be giving away some pretty awesome stuff. This week, I guess this giveaway, we'll be doing Superman as our character. So we'll be giving away a custom Superman shirt for whoever wins. Just let us know your size. Some Superman comics and some other swag that we're throwing out there. And give us a follow. Give us some likes, comments, engage with us. We would love to talk to you guys and listen to some of your thoughts and theories. You can also check us out on Facebook, Something Super Podcast. We are a group and a page. Thank you for listening. For those of you that are listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, thank you for hosting us. That's really all I've got. That's going to be my long-winded outro. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
I'm Jay.
And this has been the Something Super Podcast. We'll see you next Thursday.